Hi guys, my name is Aoleon and here's my non-musical music tip, and that's riding a bike. I think riding a bike is a great way to get around New Orleans, especially in the French Quarter. So in the French Quarter, you're more likely to get a ticket if your car is sitting more than 2 hours and you don't have a resident parking pass. A lot of people don't know that, and then they come back to the car and like, oh my god, I got a ticket. I think they stopped giving tickets around like 5, 6 o'clock, but once again, don't quote me on that. This is just coming from my experience. I don't work for parking enforcement at all. I'm just a musician. So one of the best tips that I've gotten is to ride a bike. The last 2, 3 years I've been playing more music. I've been pushing myself to play more. I've been busking more, and having a bike really opened up a lot of opportunities for me. And sometimes having a car is a hindrance. You're stuck in traffic, streets are blocked off. Typically speaking, if I'm on my bike or my trike, I'm always able to get through. Even when the National Guard cuts the street off, sometimes I have to walk my trike over instead of me being able to ride it over, but that's fine with me as long as I get there. So the first thing I want to start off is, I guess, about do's and don'ts. So one thing you want to do is check the pressure of your tire. On your tire, it usually tells you what pressure your tire is supposed to be, and you should check that pretty regularly to make sure the pressure is correct, because if your pressure is too low, you're going to get a flat. Also, making sure you have maybe tire liners or slime tires or something, because the streets of New Orleans suck with all the party and everything. With the second lines, there's glass in the road, there's glass in the bike paths. With the construction, there's nails and debris everywhere. So if you don't have anything protecting your tire like that, you're probably going to get flat after flat after flat. Also, when the weather changes, when it goes from hot to cold, cold to hot, all of my tires are on flat. There have been times where I've rode my trike out in the morning when it's kind of cool, and then it warms out in the middle of the day, and then I look at my trike and I'm all on flats. So it's really important to check your tire pressure. So one thing that's really cool that you should have is this. It's a portable bike pump. So it has the option for high pressure, high volume. Here, you just have to twist it here to adjust that. Also, it has a gauge, and this gauge is pretty cool because it tells you as mountain bike, cruiser, hybrid, BMX, road. But like I said, usually on the wheel, it'll tell you the pressure of your tire. I predominantly have Schrader valves, and I know that this air pump works with a Schrader valve. I've never used this for a Presta valve, but it says that it does work for a Presta valve. So if you have a Presta valve, you would take this off. You would turn and take this off and put this on there to refill your tire. But don't forget to put this back on, because you don't want to lose this little part. And it's really important when you're going to get an inner tube and something's wrong or you have a flat, you have to make sure you know the difference between a Schrader valve and a Presta valve. I get it confused all the time. Don't be like me. Don't get them confused. So to put air in the tire, first you take this cap off. Make sure you don't lose the cap. You put it on. You click it like this. I heard a little noise when it went in too, so that's a good sign. I can see the gauge on my side, so that's perfect. You take this and you pull it up and you just go. So my tire's pretty full, so it's like resisting a good bit. Make sure you don't go too far. If it's resisting like that, that means it's full and you don't want to end up busting your tires on accident. So that's how you put air using this pump. Take it off like so. Screw that cap back on. So I'm not sure if the cap actually helps. I was just told that it can keep debris from forming around the valve. So I just keep it on just in case. If you have a pressure valve, this should be able to work for you. So you take this part off and it should work in here. So you turn this and then it goes all the way out like this. You should be able to use this for a high pressure or high volume tire too. And when you're done, don't forget, just take this and put it back on. Also, you have to flip this to lock it when you put this on the valve. Just keep twisting it like so. And if you don't want the high pressure, high volume, you just lock it back in like this. So without the high pressure, high volume, it looks like this. With the high pressure, high volume, you twist it. And it looks like this. So the next thing I wanted to show is my lock. So I have this on guard U-lock, and it came with this rope. So the good thing about this rope is I use this rope to secure my tires. Being a trike, I have 3 tires, and if someone took all 3 of them, that would be really expensive. I often find when I see someone's bike that has been vandalized, people usually take all the wheels and just leave the frame stuck to the pole. And I feel like this helps a lot, just tying my tires up. The U-lock is pretty cool. It's on guard. On guard locks are usually a little bit more expensive. I'm not sure if they're better than other locks, but I've heard people say that they really like on guard locks. The other thing I like about this lock is this. It's got this hole here, you know, where your key goes. But you take it and you slide it like that, and it stops the debris from going into your lock. And that's really important because you just don't want a bunch of gunk in your lock. So if a human being wanted to put something in the lock, if they're just doing it really quick, they might not think, oh yeah, let me push this up. So the best lesson I've ever been taught about locks is there's no lock that's foolproof that's going to stop anyone from stealing your bike. But a lock is more of a deterrent, and you use the lock to buy you more time. So instead of somebody just walking up and riding off with your bike, you might have an extra 20 minutes because they're sitting there, they're fighting with this, trying to get the locks free. And then they're fighting with this, trying to get it off the pole. Also, I wanted to talk about the size of my U-lock. I know my U-lock is relatively small. I like it because I can fit it into my bag or my purse and take it with me if I have to. But I also like the fact that it fits really snug around the pole. So there's not a lot of play when I put it on a pole. So it's harder to just cut off. Also, I put the lock inward on the bike. I just put it in the most cumbersome way to where somebody can't just come and lock the lock off. So I know it's not super professional, but I typically check my pressure by squeezing it. I've been having this bike for 2 years, and I can tell like when it's too low. Also, something cool about bikes, make sure you have reflectors on the backs and on the side so people can see you when they're riding by. I have lights on the front and back of my bike, courtesy of Bike Easy. I have a bell just to make sure I can ding it so people can hear me. Also, I do have a mirror. I'm missing my other mirror, but I have it so I can see cars on the side of me, so I'm less likely to get hit or sideswiped. So, yeah, here's my trike. So here I am. I'm on one of the protected bike lanes. It's pretty cool because the traffic's right there, and I'm here. They're adding a lot of these in New Orleans, and it's great for me because it makes my commute a whole lot easier, and I feel a lot safer. So one thing I wanted to point out is I always stop at the red lights. I know some people go, I mean, you can go if there's nobody, but like, yeah, I try to stop at the red lights. So I made it to Royal Street. It's a pretty uneventful day. Have a good day, man. But yeah, people are out here, and I'm super happy to be here. So I will say, you could say anything about me, but I'm the most I feel like I'm the most reliable I've ever been. Riding a bike has really made playing music easier for me. It makes it easier for me to get to and from places, and having all my stuff in one place, it really, really helps. So if you're a musician and you want an easy way to get to and from gigs, I think riding your bike is the best way to go. And I'll be honest with you, my trike was about $700, and I feel like it's earned me much more than $700, and I bought it 2 years ago. Since I started riding the trike and riding my bike, I haven't had any tickets in the quarter, and that's pretty amazing. The other thing that I really like about riding the trike is I just feel like I'm just healthier all around. I don't feel like I'm missing my cardio at all. Like, I go to the gym, and going to the gym is great and all, but getting that cardio every day is pretty neat, you know. But once again, I just want to show y'all something. So one important thing to remember too is when you're packing your stuff, make sure you take your lock and you strap your stuff down, because while you're riding, you don't want anybody to walk up and snatch your things from you, because I've had people do that. Like, people just suck. They don't want to see you happy. They just do little crappy stuff like that. And also, something I should get better about is just keeping your bike clean. Like, the cleaner you have your bike, the longer it'll last. Like, I tried not to keep a bunch of gunk on my bike. Having lights for visibility is really important, especially when you're riding home at twilight, or sometimes the sun just accidentally gets dark on you. Once again, the mirror helps a lot with traffic. Having the bell to ring just in case a car gets close to you. I wish I could have made a video of me riding, but I don't know. I don't have a GoPro or anything, and I don't really feel safe me riding around with my phone in my hand, but I don't know, maybe one day. One other thing I wanted to add is sometimes in New Orleans we have a tendency to be bike unfriendly, and I think this is pretty bad. The reason why I think it's bad is because we've been having this debate about the pedestrian mall since forever, I think, especially since the attack that happened recently. I feel like us being bike unfriendly is part of the problem. Like, they have some people in the quarter who don't care if you ride a bike and where you tie it, but there's some people who put stuff like that. So the gallery that used to be here, I can tell you from experience that if you take your bike and you park it here and tie it up, they will put glue in your lock. And the part that's crazy to me is that it's right there, it's by the pedestrian mall, and people are coming here to enjoy themselves and work, and you literally just put glue in their lock. I'm not sure the legality about whether people can put glue in your lock. I will say this though, if you are riding a bike and you bring it to the quarter, please don't lock your bike to someone's gate, especially if it's a gate where they have to get in and out of their homes. Don't lock your bike to someone's gate. You wouldn't want someone to do it to you. But when it comes to the poles, I'm not sure about that. This gallery that's now closed used to put glue in people's locks. I'm not sure if they can legally do that. They're closed anyway, so I don't know. I still lock my bike up here, and I dare someone to touch it. But I will say, I do wish the city of New Orleans had more designated places to lock bikes to reduce confusion, and it might actually help with theft. I think one of the reasons why people's bikes get stolen is because you have to go so far to lock your bike. And I'll be honest with you, if I have to go a long way to lock my bike, I'm not going into place. A lot of times when I have to play somewhere in a quarter, they'll let me put my bike in a courtyard or something, and that's very nice, but I don't always have that luxury. I think the city of New Orleans should really think about putting more bike parking in the area, and what I suggest is this. So in areas like this, maybe they can put it, maybe they can put some like right here where we can fit one or two of this bollard is, or like on the side of the bollard, because most people just park them on poles like this and like that. So I try to park my bike to where I'm not blocking the walkway, even though I know my trike is pretty wide. Some business owners don't like the trikes or bikes to be in their window because they want people to see their products, and that's fine. But I think that we need to figure out a better way to lock your bikes in the quarter without disturbing a business. There's a spot on Frenchman, and I really like the way that they have their bike parking, and I think they should have more of this in the quarter. But anywho, this is my non-musical music tip, and I'll show you the other bike I ride just to get to and from places.